The right way to rise Uchiha, tell me about the timeline. As we all know, the timeline of Hokage is a bit messy, so in this book, I can only try to restore it. According to my settings, World War II started in Konoha in 32 years, and then in 35 years, it was provoked by Urin village and officially broke out. It reached its climax in 37 years. In the same year, the strength of the three ninjas and above fought against Hanzo. In the battle, he broke through the quasi-shadow level and survived from his subordinates. After that, he passed the quasi-shadow stage in a short period of time. He really became a shadow-level powerhouse and became famous. Ninja World. In the same year, World War II ended. Then Jiraiya taught Nagato and the three of them for 3 years and returned to Konoha in 40 years. Maybe there is something wrong, but it is written according to this, I hope you will forgive me. Schlossbing. The right way to rise Uchiha, Strength Division. In Naruto, there are actually only 3 levels of division, upper, middle, and lower ninja. Many things are very vague, so in order to facilitate writing, a division of strength has been carried out. The strength of the book is also calculated according to this. There are 9 levels in total. Genin, the newly graduated ninja has just reached the level of Genin. After tempering, the chakra increases by 5 times and is in the Genin stage. The composition of strength is mainly based on taijutsu, supplemented by 3-body jutsu and C-level D-level ninjutsu. Chunin, the level of passing the Chunin exam. Begin to practice a tribute ninjutsu. The main method becomes C-level ninjutsu, supplemented by D-level ninjutsu, 3-body ninjutsu, and taijutsu. The best of them can barely use B-level ninjutsu once. Elite Chunin, generally, it is a change in the nature of one attribute that is cultivated. The amount of chakra has been initially liberated. Compared with ordinary Chunin, the amount of chakra is more sufficient. The main method is the cooperation of B-level and C-level ninjutsu. Able to use 3 or 4 B-rank ninjutsu. Talented, able to use A-level ninjutsu, of course, is the castrated version, and it still has to pay a certain price. Special Jonin, a ninja who has reached the standard of Jonin in 1 or more attributes, or has not been promoted to Jonin due to insufficient merit. Able to use A-level ninjutsu, but reluctantly, mainly B-level ninjutsu. Shainin, the real high-level combat power of the ninja world is only about 1,000 people in the entire ninja world. After a transformation, the strength in all aspects has been greatly improved, and the level of physical skills has jumped significantly. Only relying on physical skills can kill Chunin and even some elite Chunin. The actual span is larger. Elite Shainin, chakra is more abundant than Shainin, using A-level ninjutsu and B-level combined ninjutsu as the main means. Quasi-shadow, 1 foot into the shadow level. The bottleneck has been broken, and it has reached the transition stage that has not yet fully adapted. It's just a habitual title, not a level. There is a special elite jounin that can exert the strength of the Quasi-Kage, and is also called the Quasi-Kage. Shadow level, the existence of the strategic level. A-level ninjutsu is the main method, and the amount of chakra is greatly liberated, and it is generally no longer restricted by chakra in battle. Of course, big moves like forbidden arts and S-level ninjutsu are excluded. Super shadow level, the amount of chakra is truly liberated. All kinds of means are at your fingertips, and it has the power to change the world. Just the aftermath of a battle can drastically change the terrain. 6th Dao level, it's indescribable, it's pretty awesome anyway. In addition, in about 10 or 20 chapters, although the protagonist did not have a system, he still quantified some data for himself. The chakra required to cast a perfect, no-waste, tripartite spell is defined as 1 card. Well, it has nothing to do with Kakashi. I just think this unit is smooth. The general amount of ninja chakra at each level. Ninja school students, 10 cards or less. Shimonin, 10 to 50 cards. Chunin, 51 to 500 cards. Elite Chunin, 500, 2000 cards. Special Jounin, more than 2,000 cards, more special, there is no specific upper limit, some more than 3,000 will reach the bottleneck, and some can directly reach 5,000 cards. Joinin, 5,000 to 20,000 cards. After the transformation, even if it is a special jonin with a limit of 3,000 cards, the amount of chakra will increase to more than 5,000 in a short time. Elite Hunin, 20,000 to 100,000 cards, for reference. Movie level, 200,000 cards or more, 1 million cards or less. Super movie level, more than 1 million cards, no upper limit. 6th Dao level, it has nothing to do with the amount of chakra, mainly the realm. Also, 1 gallon equals 10,000 calories. The right way to rise. Uchiha Chapter 1, Cross. Reborn. Ninja World, Fire Country, Konoha Village. As the noble family of the entire Konoha, the Uchiha family owns a large piece of clan land in Konoha. At this time, in the Uchiha family, in an ordinary small building, a 2-year-old child was sitting on the steps of the backyard with a gloomy face, sometimes scratching his head with his hands. In the end, the little boy who had to accept the reality could only sigh in frustration. So, I really crossed. The little boy muttered to himself, with a look of confusion in his eyes, and then said uncertainly. Or, is it a rebirth? Forget it, it's pointless to struggle with this. That's right. The little boy has a secret, he is not from this world, or, to be precise, his soul comes from another world. It was a world called Lan Xing, where the little boy's previous life was a college student named Lin Qing. There, Lin Qing was considered a not-so-small elite, attending a top 10 university in the country, and a top student with a double degree in biology and medicine. When Lin Qing was in college, he fell in love with reading novels. In various fantasy fairy tales, the scenes of moving mountains and seas made Lin Qing envious. No, I read a novel all night and became addicted to it accidentally. I watched, and my soul was gone, and no one was waking up. Lin Qing's soul came to this world and became this little boy named Uchiha Qing. Maybe it's a fan in the womb. Uchiha Kyo didn't directly travel over with his memory. Originally, Uchiha Qing was fine when he was a child, and there was nothing unusual. Until the age of 1, he began to dream of Lin Qing's fragments one after another. Within a year, Uchiha Qing changed from occasional dreams to occasional extra episodes. Memory. However, Uchiha Kyo didn't speak up either. Maybe it was a subconscious reaction, or maybe he had seen similar things in his extra memory and knew that he shouldn't speak up at this time, otherwise he would definitely be noticed, and then he was caught anatomy or something. In this way, Uchiha Qing slowly awakened the memory of his previous life, and even the parents who got along with each other day and night did not know the transformation that occurred slowly. In fact, this is also normal. Uchiha has cleared the memory that he did not tell his parents about his occasional extra memory. Everything else is normal, and it is completely the performance of a child. He has always watched those memories as something called movie inside. Until a few days ago, his parents died unexpectedly during the mission, which hit Uchiha deeply. The memories of Lin Qing's previous life, who had been sluggish for at least 3 years, were also awakened. It was only then that Uchiha Qing realized that he had transmigrated, and it was the process of his own awakening memory before. Fortunately, there are existences such as the mystery in the womb, and his memory is awakened in sections. Otherwise, a newborn baby will be startled, and it will be suspicious. Awakening piece by piece, slowly recovering all memories, is actually not bad, at least easy to accept. In the past 2 days, Uchiha Kiyoshi has also clarified his own situation. The parents of this life are both ninjas of the Uchiha clan, and they belong to the same team of Chunin. Among them, the father opened the double-go jade writing will I, and the mother only opened the single-go jade. A few days ago, during a mission, I encountered a rebel in Wuin village, and the entire team was wiped out. It was also the reinforcements who came later, who found their bodies, and deduced the whole story based on the situation at the scene. The reason why Uchiha Kiyoshi was so young, he knew the situation of his parents' writing will I was completely because his parents did not disguise in front of him before, and even many times, they would proudly open the writing will I in front of him, and tell Uchiha. Qing was educating him, telling him the power of Sharingan. Strange to say, since this big change, after awakening all memories, Uchiha Qing now feels that his mind is very clear, and the memories of many things can be recalled. Of course, under the experiment, Uchiha Ching found that he did not have any ability to remember, but after studying many things carefully 3 or 4 times, Uchiha Ching could remember. Uchiha Ching also guessed that he should have undergone a big change and his soul has become stronger. In addition, he has accepted the memory of his previous life, and his soul has also strengthened to some extent. However, these are not the most important. What Kyo Uchiha cares most about now is the situation in this world. Uchiha Kyo, who has received many of Lin Qing's memories since he was a child, is smart. At just 2 years old, he has already learned the language of this world, can communicate with people normally, and has no problems with walking. According to his limited understanding, if he guessed correctly, the world he lives in is the world of the popular anime, Naruto, in his previous life. Hey! How did you get reborn into such a world? Ninja world, it can be said to be the most cruel world at the beginning, and it is still the Uchiha family. Uchiha Kiyoshi gets a headache every time he thinks of his identity. Uchiha, but he was going to be exterminated by that man. Uchiha was afraid that he would wake up one day and the man would stand in front of him and give himself a blow. Uchiha Ching also struggled for several days about his future. This time, Uchiha Ching finally made up his mind, his expression became firm, and he gritted his teeth. Done. Ninja must be a ninja. In such a world, there is no strength, will be slaughtered at will. And if you want to gain strength, becoming a ninja is the best choice. After making up his mind, Uchiha Ching also began to plan his future. First of all, it is impossible to be a genius. No matter what period it is, the relationship between Uchiha and Konoha is not very good. He is an orphan. Once he is too good, he will face either the recruitment of the Hokage family, or being pushed out of the village, is absolutely endless trouble anyway. Uchiha Ching first set his own character, but then he laughed at himself. Oh, I don't even know my own talent now, so I want to be a genius here. But then, Uchiha Ching put away his contempt for himself. In my previous life, I was a genius. Even if I came to this world of cultivation, I would be able to make a name for myself, right? Besides, my own soul is strong, so I have an advantage. And the most important thing is that I am Uchiha. I have memories of my past life. As long as it is not bad luck, it is not too much to open a kaleidoscope, right? Not too much, it should not be too much. After regaining his confidence, Uchiha Kyo began to plan his future again. After briefly planning his future goals, Uchiha Ching also got up and returned to the house. Planning or something is the most unreliable. It's enough to set a general direction. Let's pack up and eat first. Recently, my parents just passed away, and there are a lot of things. I will think about my situation carefully after a while. In the past few days, I have to inquire about the news. I have to know what time I am in now, right? According to the memory of the previous year, the situation between Uchiha and Konoha is not that serious, and there is no sound of a coup d'état. It should be early. While cooking, Uchiha Kyo muttered. He was a top student in his previous life, and his parents were often away from home in this life. Since he could walk and be sensible, Kyo Uchiha has cooked by himself, so Kyo Uchiha's cooking skills are still okay. All right. Looking at the food in front of him, Uchiha Ching started to move. Although everything has been accepted and temporarily calmed down, Uchiha Ching still couldn't help fantasizing that he would be successful in his practice in the future, and his every move would destroy the world. There's also Shirinyan, and I don't know how to open my eyes in the future. Sure enough, the novels are all deceptive, such as opening eyes at the age of 6, and even after the death of my parents, it is directly the situation of Sengoku, there is no such thing at all. My parents can open their eyes, so my bloodline should be fine, but it has been a long time since I received the news of my parents' death, and there is no sign of my eyes opening at all. Well, it seems that opening the eyes does not necessarily only require drastic emotional changes, and other conditions are still there. A lot of things known from previous lives can only be used as a reference. Should it be chakra? I don't even have chakra yet, so I opened my eyes and wanted to eat it. Although Uchiha Ching was eating, he still stopped and muttered a few words from time to time. Ching has already cooked, he is indeed a good boy. By the way, what did you mutter when you first came in? Just as Uchiha Chin finished muttering once, a gentle voice sounded behind him. Uchiha Chin heard the whole body suddenly rise, but quickly reacted, "Ah, it's nothing, I'm just reviewing the food." "Ah, ha, ha." He said it back, but he also secretly warned himself, "It seems that I can't say everything in the future, it's enough to think about a lot of things in my heart." Fortunately, I didn't hear it clearly this time, otherwise I'm a 2-year-old child, keep talking about opening eyes, past lives, etc., if someone hears it, then it's over. Uchiha Chin turned around and looked at the door. I saw a kind-faced, rickety old woman standing at the door with a basket in her hand. This old woman is Uchiha Kiyoshi's neighbor. After her parents died, she was the one who often came to take care of Uchiha Kiyo in the days when Uchiha Kiyo was in a daze. For this neighbor, Uchiha Kiyoshi is still very grateful. After his parents died, he also relied on each other to take care of him for 2 days, and only then did he survive. With the help of Kiyo Uchiha, the old woman walked into the kitchen and looked at the surrounding scene. The old woman also felt sympathy for the child who lost his parents at the age of 2. "Chin, life and death have fate, don't be too sad, your parents are in the spirit of heaven, and they should also hope that you can live happily. Also, in a few days, someone from the clan will come and arrange for you to go to the orphanage in the clan. If you don't want to go, I'll go tell them and I'll take care of you in the future." Hearing that the other party cared about him, Uchiha Chin was moved for a while, but after thinking about it, he still refused. "Grandma, forget it. I can take care of myself by myself. Look, I can cook by myself." Seeing this, the old woman did not insist any longer, sighed, and put the basket on the dining table. "These are the meals I made for you. Although you have already prepared them here, I will leave them for you. Don't worry, they are kept warm. You can eat them at night. In the future, if you are hungry, you can come to my house. Grandma made it for you." After speaking, he turned around and walked out of the Uchiha Kiyo's house. Looking at the old woman's back, Uchiha Chin also felt a warm current in his heart. It seems that Uchiha is not all arrogant and eccentric, or has a lot of kind clansmen. The right way to rise. Uchiha Chapter 2, 4 Years Change. In this way, Uchiha Kiyo refused to enter the orphanage, and with the subsidies from the village and the help of the clan, he started his own life. In the blink of an eye, 4 years have passed. In the past 4 years, Uchiha has cleared his personality of becoming extraordinary. In front of outsiders, he has not performed too well, and everything is quite satisfactory. This is the character set by Uchiha Kiyo, one who was hit by the death of his parents, and has since become withdrawn, even a little, fear of death. Well, Kiyo Uchiha, who is afraid of death, hasn't had a chance to reveal it yet, but it's almost too soon. He'll be going to the ninja school soon. After self-introduction, this character will stand still. Although he was not an actor or the like in his previous life, and he had never learned to act, Uchiha Kiyoshi was not afraid that he would screw up his performance. After all, to a certain extent, he was acting in his true colors. Of course, Uchiha Kiyo himself will not admit this. In the past 4 years, Uchiha Chin has also figured out the point in time he is in. Now is the 28th year of Konoha. After the first ninja war, the second ninja war has not yet begun. This is good news for Uchiha. At least, don't worry about genocide. Moreover, according to the current situation, he can at least graduate normally, and even after a few years of tempering, the war will break out. With the perfect development time, Uchiha Kiyoshi will naturally not let it go. After many revisions, Uchiha Chin also made a preliminary plan for himself. Of course, in these 4 years, Uchiha Chin did not waste it. Although he did not refine chakra, he did not fail at all in terms of physical exercise. That's right, Uchiha Kiyo didn't even mention chakra. In fact, this is not to blame Uchiha Kiyoshi. Although it is said that for some reason, children in the ninja world develop rapidly, but to refine chakra, it is not as early as possible. Generally, it is not until the age of 6 that one can start trying to lift up chakra without causing any damage to the body. After all, the ninja school does not set the entry age at 6 casually. As for why those ninjas with families can practice chakra in advance. Those ninjas all have their own set of inheritances. Through special medicated baths, they can ensure that the body will not be damaged when chakra is refined in advance, and even medicated baths will improve their physical quality, making them more than peers have a greater advantage. Although Uchiha Ching is a member of Uchiha, he can actually enjoy a medicinal bath and practice chakra in advance. But why not enough money? Even in various ninja clans, those who can enjoy medicinal baths and cultivate in advance are all existences with high status in the clan. This is also because the cost of most medicated baths is very high, and the average family cannot afford it. However, although the major ninja clans cannot afford the medicinal baths of each clan so that they can start practicing chakra at the age of 5 or even 4 years old, it is still possible for them to start practicing chakra within half a year before entering the ninja school. Generally, ninjas will gather school-age children in the clan 2 or 3 months before the start of the ninja school, conduct training, and teach them to refine chakra. Usually, this kind of training is taught by the chunin and even the upper ninja in the clan. In addition to instructing them to refine chakra, they will also teach them some unique skills of their own family, such as the throwing technique of the Uchiha family. At this point, the civilian ninja is opened up a lot. This is not a gap of 2 months. You must know that the ninjas teach in advance. Although it is not one-on-one, every school-age child will receive sufficient guidance. Generally, it takes less than half of the time, that is, a month. Basically, chakra can be extracted smoothly. This is much more efficient than ninja school. You must know that in the first semester of the first grade of the ninja school, there is only one teaching goal, and that is to teach students to refine chakra. Some students may not even be able to successfully extract chakra for half a year, and the teaching efficiency is judged. In other words, the ninjas of the ninja clan sometimes spend half a year cultivating more than the civilian ninjas of the same period. In the past 4 years, since chakra could not be refined, Uchiha Kyo focused most of his energy on physical exercise. With the medical knowledge of the previous life, Uchiha Kiyoshi maximizes his physical quality every time on the premise of ensuring that his body is not damaged. Now, Uchiha Ching has been able to do 100 push-ups at a time, and a full jump is 3 or 4 meters high. In addition, Uchiha Ching also found time to read a lot of books. This is also something that can't be done. You can't refine chakra, and you can't do physical exercise from time to time. Uchiha Ching naturally has to find something to do. For Uchiha Kiyoshi, who has good learning ability and was admitted to the top 10 universities in the country in his previous life, reading is a good choice. Uchiha, as a big family, can be said to be extremely rich. In the Uchiha clan, there is a reference room specially built for the clan, similar to the library in the previous life. Although there are no ninjutsu scrolls or all kinds of secret techniques, but a lot of basic knowledge can be found here, which is enough for Uchiha Kiyoshi. For 4 years, Uchiha Kyo spent about half of his time on the scrolls in the reference room. Yu reading www.yuyukeungshu.com. Uchiha has read a lot of things, first of all medical knowledge. After all, this world is different from the previous life. Uchiha Kiyoshi naturally has to study the medical knowledge of this world, and at the same time lay a good foundation for his future practice of medical ninjutsu. That's right, Uchiha Kiyoshi wants to practice medical ninjutsu. As we all know, ninjas who can't breastfeed themselves are not good ninjas. Uchiha Kyo naturally has to learn medical ninjutsu. Moreover, Uchiha Kyo knows very well that he will definitely transfer to the research field like Orochimaru in the future. For research, medical ninjutsu cannot be avoided in various experiments, and it is also a good thing for Uchiha to master it early. In addition to medical ninjutsu, most of the materials that Uchiha read are related to sealing techniques. Uchiha, as a big family that continued from the Warring States period, even existed from the legendary ninja era, it can be said that it has a long history. In terms of sealing, although it is not comparable to the Uzumaki family, it is still enough for a novice like Uchiha Kyo to lay the foundation. As we all know, the strongest combat system in the ninja world is not ninjutsu, nor immortality, but sealing. It seems that in the entire ninja world, the sealing technique is the existence with the highest priority. Haven't you seen Kagaya Otsutsuki, the ancestor of chakra, being sealed in the moon for 1,000 years? Also, Minato Namikaze's Flying Thunder God technique also uses a lot of knowledge of sealing techniques. Even, being able to successfully cultivate the technique of Flying Thunder God, the sealing technique can be said to have helped Minato Namikaze a lot. Uchiha Kiyoshi, who knew the importance of sealing, naturally had to lay a solid foundation in this regard. With a strong learning ability, in addition to medical knowledge and the foundation of sealing, Uchiha Kiyoshi naturally also read some other things. But mostly some basic knowledge of ninja. The right way to rise. Uchiha Chapter 3, Clan Training. Today, after Kiyo Uchiha got up, he did his daily exercise and didn't read a book after eating. Instead, after some preparations, he went to the training ground of Uchiha House Han. It has only been 4 months since the opening of the ninja school, and today is the day when the Uchiha family conducts pre-training for 6-year-old children. As a big clan, the Uchiha clan trained a month or even 2 months earlier than other ninja clans. It's not that other ninjas don't want to advance, but that the advanced training is not only to allow the younger generation in the clan to refine chakra and advance, but more to lay a solid foundation for them. How to lay the foundation? Spend money. A lot of training every day, coupled with a medicated bath once a day, this is not a small amount. Take the medicated bath once a day, although it is not as good as the medicated bath used by those children who have cultivated a year or 2 in advance, but it costs 5,000 taels per serving. This is all provided for free by the clan. Uchiha Ching has 2 subsidies from the village and the clan, and only 8,000 taels per month. Even if most of the meals are made at home every month, plus some extra expenses, at least 3,000 taels are used a month. In 4 years, Uchiha Ching saved only 200,000 taels. And the training in the clan will last until 1 month before the start of the ninja school, that is, 3 months, a total of 90 days, 5,000 taels of medicinal baths a day, a total of 450,000 taels. It is more than double the money that Uchiha Ching saved in 4 years. Although it is said that a large part of the medicinal materials are collected by the clan, but that is also money. It's worth selling. There may be some discounts for bulk purchases of other medicinal materials, but not too much. This is just the money for each junior's medicinal bath, and there are various expenses in other aspects. Every year, there will be more than a dozen juniors of the right age, and it will cost more than 20 million taels for the training organized by the clan. Smaller ninjas can't afford it at all. With so much money, they only practice a few months in advance. Uchiha Kiyo walked towards the destination while sighing at the atmosphere of the clan. Soon, Uchiha Kiyo saw the meeting point from a distance, and there were already many juniors of the same age waiting there. There was still half an hour before the time set by the clan. Uchiha Kiyo was not in a hurry and walked over slowly. Don't look at him being so lazy at this time. This is a rare time for him to relax in recent years, so naturally he needs to relax. The other children were playing with each other, and seeing Uchiha Ching coming over was not without an invitation, but was rejected by Uchiha Ching. Uchiha Kiyoshi really can't play with a group of little kids, is it childish or not? He is also not worried about his actions being suspected by others. There are still a lot of precocious children in the ninja world. After Kiyo Uchiha's parents died 4 years ago, he has always been precocious, and no one doubts it. When the appointed time was approaching, the 2 clothes were printed with the Uchiha clan emblem, similar to a table tennis racket, and a ninja wearing a Konoha forehead came to Uchiha Kiyoshi's group of people. One of the taller ninjas asked them to stand up, counted the number of people, and then started his own teaching. First, introduce yourself. Hello, I am the ninja arranged by the clan to guide you this time. My name is Uchiha Takashi, join in. Your chakra training and kunai throwing for the past 3 months are all taught by me. The one next to him is Nobu Uchiha, who is a special jonin, like me, in charge of guiding you, but more focused on physique. Saying that, Uchiha Takashi pointed to another ninja who was not tall beside him. Nobu Uchiha also introduced his responsible aspects to the little devils in front of him. Okay, little devils, we don't need any troublesome self-introduction anymore, let's start our main lesson today. In the same clan, Uchiha Takashi can also recognize it, so he did not ask them to introduce themselves, and he was not interested in these. Okay, the first thing we will learn today is the refining of chakra. Suppressing the excited group of little devils below, Uchiha Takashi continued to preach. As a ninja, the most important thing is chakra. The amount of chakra is directly related to the amount of ninjutsu a ninja can release, and it also affects the power of ninjutsu. So, next, you must practice chakra well, raise your chakra as much as possible. Looking at the group of children below who seemed to understand but did not understand, Uchiha Takashi also explained patiently. Okay, speaking of this, everyone should understand the importance of chakra, right? Next, I will talk about the extraction method of chakra. Under the fiery eyes of the following group of children, Uchiha Takashi did not delay, and slowly explained the matter of refining chakra. Chakra is a kind of energy formed by the fusion of physical energy and spiritual energy, which is essential for ninjas to use ninjutsu. The main thing to pay attention to when refining chakra is to control the ratio of physical energy and mental energy. This ratio is generally different for different people. Only after finding the right ratio can chakra be blended. What I'm going to talk about next is how to feel the energy of the body and the energy of the mind. Perhaps it was because the following group of children listened in a daze. Uchiha Takashi explained, while letting them ask questions and give answers. In this way, the following group of children can be regarded as a preliminary understanding of what Uchiha Taka said, physical energy and mental energy, and how it feels. Takashi Uchiha finally let them understand, and he was relieved. To be honest, this really tested a ninja's skills. It's like teaching a child math, if you don't have a certain level, you really can't teach it. Generally, ninjas may not be able to do better than Uchiha Takashi. Uchiha Takashi nodded in satisfaction. Very well, it seems that everyone has figured out the knowledge of physical energy and mental energy. Next, what I want to talk about is how to integrate chakra. Of course, don't look at how hard it is to refine chakra. Once you have the first successful fusion, your body will remember this ratio, and you won't need so much effort to refine chakra in the future. It was another big explanation, and as the children nodded, Uchiha Takashi was relieved. Finally finished, the next thing should not be so difficult to talk about. Comforting himself in his heart, Takashi Uchiha turned his gaze to Nobu Uchiha next to him. Kunai's throwing will officially start tomorrow. Next, what you have to do is the practice of taijutsu, which will be left to Uchiha Shin. After Uchiha Takashi finished speaking, the following group of children heard that they wanted to practice physical skills, and some of them were directly discouraged. Of course, some children were full of energy and full of confidence. Seeing this, Uchiha was not accustomed to those discouraged children, and directly deterred them by force, forcing them to start training in physical arts. The so-called taijutsu is a fighting technique that uses the body augmentation of chakra and then engages in battle, or directly uses a powerful body to engage in battle. There are no shortcuts in the cultivation of taijutsu, that is, day after day, diligent study and hard training. The most important thing in physical art is physical fitness and combat experience. For the next 3 months, you will have to do a lot of physical exercise every day, as well as a lot of battles. Of course, the clan will provide you with medicated baths to ensure that your body will not be damaged. Well, today's first class, you will do physical exercise first. Each person runs 20 laps around the training ground, and the punishment for not finishing it, I think you definitely don't want to experience it. A group of 6-year-old children, no matter where they can stand the intimidation of Uchiha letter, are determined to complete the task. Besides, Uchiha's training ground is smaller than Konoha's training ground, 5 kilometers for 1 lap, 100 kilometers for 20 laps. It's not hard to do, is it? It's not difficult. Some careful children did a careful calculation, and sure enough, they didn't know, but they were startled. 100 kilometers, are you kidding me? Unfortunately, with the announcement of the start of Uchiha letter, even if it was extremely reluctant, he had to start running. Uchiha Chin kept a low profile during this process. He actually understood Uchiha Takashi's guidance once, but he also listened carefully to Uchiha Takashi's explanation after that. Explaining from different angles can always make your understanding more thorough. As for the tasks that Uchiha letter gave them, Uchiha Kiyoshi was not very worried. For the past 4 years, Uchiha Kiyoshi, who has been exercising, can be said to be the best on the field. He can still run 100 kilometers in one day. On the contrary, Uchiha Kiyoshi was very happy. Since Uchiha Shin dared to set up a 100-kilometer mission with these 6-year-old children who had basically never exercised or had little exercise, it meant that the medicated bath provided by the Uchiha clan, the effect must be better than you imagined. Following Uchiha letter's order, several energetic children rushed out first, obviously a grade faster than other children. The remaining few people are also desperately in front of the chaser. Uchiha Ching did not accelerate blindly, but tried to maintain a uniform speed and control the speed to about 70 to 80% of his fastest speed. In this way, Uchiha Ching did not fall behind, and it was the same batch as the few who were chasing after him desperately. Uchiha's choice was also very correct. The other children had only run 2 or 3 laps, so they had to slow down and gasped. And Uchiha Kiyoshi, in addition to being a little tired, his speed was not affected, and his breathing was even. Seeing this, Uchiha also secretly praised, knowing that he runs at a constant speed from the beginning, he is a smart child. As time went on, the number of laps ran increased, and Uchiha Kiyo gradually began to pant and sweat profusely. However, Uchiha still gritted his teeth and continued to run at a speed. Uchiha knew that if he wanted to break through his physical fitness, he had to break the limit again and again, but this would inevitably cause damage to his body. Under normal circumstances, when he had not mastered medical ninjutsu, he could not afford it. From the high medical bills. So this time he was given an opportunity to train him, and after the medicinal bath provided by the clan, Uchiha Kiyo planned to exercise his body well in the past 3 months. Ask for collection. The right way to rise. Uchiha Chapter 4, Kunai Throw. Uchiha Ching dragged his exhausted body and moved home step by step. After preparing the bucket with difficulty, heating the water, and soaking the medicinal bath bag made by the clan in the water, Uchiha took off his sweaty clothes and climbed into the bucket. As soon as he sat in, Kiyo Uchiha felt a sense of relief. Sure enough, after exercising, taking a hot bath is very comfortable. Kiyo Uchiha closed his eyes and began to enjoy. At the same time, the various nutrients in the medicated bath began to recover Kiyo Uchiha's physical damage, and were continuously absorbed by Kiyo Uchiha, enhancing his physical fitness. Unconsciously, Uchiha Ching also fell asleep. Uchiha Kiyo soaked in the bucket and slept for about 2 hours before waking up. Uchiha Kiyo couldn't use all his strength now, but, feeling the hunger in his body, Uchiha Kiyo rubbed his eyes, crawled out of the bucket with difficulty, put on clean clothes, and started meal. It seems that in the next few days, I will have to cook more meals in the morning, keep the heat preservation until I come back in the evening, soak in the medicated bath, and eat immediately. Feeling his hollowed-out body, Uchiha Ching also made adjustments for the next few days. The medicated bath bag can be soaked all night, so after dinner, Uchiha Kiyoshi replaced himself with a bucket of water, poured it into the medicated bath again, and soaked in it. The next morning, Uchiha Kiyo woke up in the bucket of the medicinal bath. Rubbing his eyes, he felt that his body was stronger than before. Uchiha Kiyoshi was very satisfied with the effect of yesterday's exercise. The effect of the medicinal bath is also good, but unfortunately, it is too expensive. If you have time, you must earn some money, and then take a medicated bath every day, so you won't be afraid of losing your physical skills. Yesterday's training intensity was unprecedented for Uchiha, and Uchiha also relied on his strong perseverance, which barely survived. One night's medicinal bath, the effect is still good, at least Uchiha Ching now feels very healthy, and can clearly feel his progress. Of course, Uchiha also knows that this is the first time to break the limit, plus his physical fitness is not very strong, and the natural improvement is somewhat large. In the future, with the improvement of physical fitness, even if the limit is broken, the progress will be more and more smaller. This is also the reason why there are very few taijutsu ninjas. Although the early stage is effective, the further down the road, the smaller the progress. Basically, you can only rely on perseverance to persevere and train day after day. Little progress. Also in the original work, only Matt and his son, Shaoli, have made achievements in physique. Although their behavior is quite funny, Uchiha admires the perseverance that can withstand loneliness and exercise day after day. It is also for this reason that the quick-acting physical skills in the early stage are also the main means of progress for the lower ninjas. After being promoted to Chunin, with the sufficiency of chakra, the focus of the ninjas gradually shifted to ninjutsu. The reason is that many times it is said that the physical skills have reached the level of Shangnin, and more of it is said that it has the level of Shangnin in terms of combat skills. The real Jonin-level physique-type ninja refers to those who can use all kinds of ninjutsu just by relying on physique alone. In the original work, Mat Kai did it. Even his father, Mat Dai, didn't actually open the 8 gates of Duanjia under normal conditions, or in other words, when his body was not damaged. Not to mention the difficulties of taijutsu, Uchiha Kiyoshi is very satisfied with the feeling of a strong body. According to this trend, as long as he does his best every day for the past 3 months, maybe he will be able to have the level of ninja before the start of the ninja school. Gymnastics. Since coming to the ninja world and awakening his memory, Uchiha has always had an inexplicable sense of urgency, which has been urging Uchiha to make continuous progress, and only the growing strength can make Uchiha feel at ease. After a simple warm-up exercise, Uchiha took a shower, rinsed off the medicinal smell on his body, and put on clean clothes. Came to the kitchen and started cooking today's meal. In the past 4 years, Uchiha Kiyoshi has practiced a good cooking skill. In just 20 minutes, he is ready, leaving the dinner part in the pot and covering it with a lid to keep warm. Smelling the aroma of the food in the bowl, Uchiha was satisfied for a while. It's really fragrant, this is life. Taking a deep breath, Uchiha Kiyo enjoyed the rare enjoyment time at this time. Good times are always short-lived. After breakfast, Uchiha had to pack up and prepare for what he needed for today's training. Thinking of the cruelty of this world, Uchiha Chin also secretly encouraged himself and strengthened his determination. Yesterday was actually just a simple adaptation, and today is the official start of the special training. Every day after that, in the morning, Uchiha Takashi guided the practice of chakra and the training of kunai throwing. In the afternoon, Uchiha Nobui trained them in physical art. Today, early in the morning, a group of 6-year-old children have come to the training ground. Although it was said that yesterday's training was very tiring, and even many people fainted, but a group of 6-year-old children who were full of energy woke up in the morning and their bodies were no longer sore. On the contrary, they were very comfortable. He left things behind and came to the training ground early. During the special training period, due to a lot of physical training every day, a group of children did not have enough energy to practice chakra after returning home. Therefore, in the past 3 months, Uchiha Kiyo and their chakra refining time were all arranged in the training every morning. Moreover, with the presence of Uchiha Takashi, they can better guide their chakra practice. Uchiha Takashi also came to the training ground on time today. Looking at the juniors who were all in place, he nodded with satisfaction. According to the arrangement of the clan, you should have some time every morning to practice chakra. However, with a strong body and will, one can feel the physical energy and spiritual energy well. Therefore, in the first week, I will only tell you some precautions for chakra cultivation, and then most of the time will be spent training the kunai throw. I believe that when you finish the exercise that Uchiha Letter arranged for you for a week, you will have a significant improvement in both physical fitness and willpower. At that time, the refining of chakra will be carried out, but it will get twice the result with half the effort. Takashi Uchiha roughly explained the recent arrangements to the juniors, and then started today's teaching. To be honest, Uchiha Takashi is relatively gentle, and he will explain everything to Uchiha Kiyoshi and the others. If you encounter a ninja with a bad personality, it is estimated that you will not have the mind to explain it to them, and it will be your own guidance directly. But it's not surprising. After all, it is a special training for the younger generation in the clan. In the selection of people, the senior members of the clan will naturally have a round of selection. It is also a peaceful time, all the big clans are not so nervous, and the training of the juniors in the clan is mainly gentle. If it was placed in the war period, it is estimated that the ninja selected from the clan and the teaching would be another situation. Okay, just now I have told you some precautions in the process of chakra cultivation. Next, what I will teach you is the throwing technique of our Uchiha clan. It can be said that in the entire ninja world, the throwing skills of our Uchiha clan are definitely the strongest. Therefore, you should also train hard and try to master the throwing skills of our Uchiha clan as soon as possible, so that you can also have an advantage in the next stage of ninja. Uchiha didn't directly start teaching them the kunai throwing technique. I saw him take out a scroll, and his hands were sealed. Boom! After a white fog passed, hundreds of standard kunai came into view. Uchiha Takashi instructed the juniors below to take 10 kunai each. Uchiha also sighed in the bottom of his heart. Sure enough, it is said that the family is a big clan, and after just one special training, each person was issued 10 kunai. You must know that even the worst system, kunai, is a war material, and it costs 1,000 taels for one piece. These 10 kunai are 10,000 taels. However, thinking that there are no 450,000 taels of medicinal baths given by the clan alone, Uchiha Kiyoshi easily accepted these 10 kunai, AP. That's 10,000 taels, and Uchiha Kiyo will have to save up for 2 months. During this period of time, Uchiha also discovered that Uchiha is not as unbearable as in various novels, at least in terms of his own people, he is still very dedicated. At the same time, Uchiha also recognized his family more in his heart. After Uchiha Takashi issued a kunai, he also picked up a kunai and began to explain the structure of the kunai. Ninja has many options, such as kunai, shuriken, senbon, etc. The most commonly used of these is kunai. There are also different styles of kunai. The one you hold in your hand is the most common one. The standard kunai has a fixed shape and is mass-produced. Many powerful ninjas will choose a special custom kunai, which is not only easy to use, but also more powerful if made of special metal. The kunai throwing is not as simple as imagined. Although there is no special classification of the knowledge used in it, Uchiha Kiyoshi has received 9 years of compulsory education in the previous life, and at least he can hear the momentum from Uchiha Takashi's explanation. Fluid pressure and many other physical knowledge. It also has a foundation, and Uchiha Ching is still very relaxed at least in theoretical understanding. Of course, this is compared to other kids. The complex changes involved in kunai throwing cannot be learned in a single morning. In many cases, the progress of kunai throwing requires continuous practice to improve, and the theory is only an auxiliary role. Sure enough, looking at the bewildered eyes of the group of children below, Uchiha Takashi was also very embarrassed. Okay, in addition to learning so many theories, kunai throwing requires more practice. Next, we begin the practice of kunai throwing. Alright, come with me. Having said that, Uchiha Takashi led a group of children towards the kunai training area. At the same time, Uchiha Takashi also gave them the common sense of throwing kunai. The practice of kunai throwing generally starts with a fixed target, then a moving target, and finally the hardest part is throwing multiple kunai at the same time. These 3 months, you are more to practice fixed target and moving target. Today, our goal is not to get a good head shot, but mainly to learn the kunai throw. When kunai was throwing, it was more comfortable to hold like this, and the damage to the opponent was minimal, plus, such a standard action would basically not complete the damage to the opponent's hand. Yu reading www.yuyukeungshu.com. Everyone watch my demo. I saw that Uchiha Takashi picked up a kunai, held it according to the method just taught, and then it was a set of standard actions. Whoosh! Kunai had already flown out, and there was another kunai at the red dot in the middle of the target on the opposite side. A group of 6-year-old children also exclaimed, even Uchiha Ching, after all, no matter how mature he is still a rookie. He was shocked to see the demonstration of the big guy. Next, 15 children, under the guidance of Takashi Uchiha, took turns throwing kunai. One morning, just like that. After practicing the kunai throwing all morning, the wrists of all the children were sore, and they even lost consciousness. Uchiha Takashi gave them a simple treatment, applied the ointment with the characteristics of the clan, and handed them over to Uchiha Shin. A group of children with worn wrists, under the training of Nobu Uchiha, conducted an afternoon of running, frog leaping and other training. No, finally the whole body is wasted, it is complete. Compared with yesterday, Uchiha Kiyo moved home more difficultly today. Fortunately, I had the foresight and made dinner early, otherwise, in today's situation, I'm afraid I won't be able to eat. With a wry smile, Uchiha Kiyo no longer delayed, poured the boiled hot water into the bucket, and soaked the medicinal bath bag in it. Take out the dinner from the kitchen, put it aside, climb into the wooden barrel, rest for an hour, then soak it directly in the wooden barrel, pick up the dinner and eat it. After eating, Uchiha Kiyo added some hot water to himself, and then continued to enjoy his medicinal bath. The right way to rise. Uchiha Chapter 5, Chakra. Early the next morning, Uchiha Kiyo rinsed the tableware and chopsticks from last night and started a new day. Just like that, a week has passed. For a week, Uchiha Kiyoshi just felt that he was living in dire straits. If he hadn't felt progress every morning, he really couldn't hold on. Sure enough, there is no good for no reason, and there is no reason why every Uchiha clan is the best group in the ninja school. In such a week, none of the 15 children gave up. There were so many times in the middle that someone wanted to give up, but he was directly moved by Uchiha's speech and felt ashamed of his behavior. He said bluntly that he would not fall into the glory of Uchiha, and he would definitely persevere and so on. Seeing Uchiha Kiyoshi is full of blood, a ghost. Uchiha Chinkai didn't have the energy to care about this. He was about to be trained as a dog himself, so how could he care about other people? However, every time I think about it, Uchiha Kiyoshi sighs. Sure enough, Uchiha's strength is justified. Just such a training is not only an improvement for them, but also a kind of family education. No wonder Uchiha in the original book cares so much about the glory of his family. A week of training has passed, and Uchiha Chin remembers that today is what Uchiha Takashi said, when they officially refined chakra. After completing a series of preparations early, Uchiha Chin came to the training ground. Sure enough, the children were very active today. They arrived early, and they didn't even play around, sitting there waiting for Takashi Uchiha to arrive. Everyone looked forward to the stars and the moon, and finally, from a distance, Uchiha Takashi was seen. Uchiha Takashi also saw them and was satisfied. Everyone is doing well today. Okay, as I said earlier. You have done physical exercise for a week and have met the basic requirements for refining chakra. Today, we will officially start practicing chakra. Uchiha Takashi looked at everyone's expressions and looked at a group of eager little eyes, and was also very satisfied. Just to have this kind of desire in the heart shows that they are still very interested in cultivation. Even if it takes a long time in the future, they may give up, but in the early stage of cultivation, their talent is enough for them to at least become Chunin. If they can open their eyes, even elite Chunin is not impossible. Generally, in the Uchiha clan, whether to become a ninja does not depend on whether you have the aptitude to refine chakra, but on the talent. Generally, you must have at least the aptitude of Chunin before recommending him to become a ninja, otherwise it is just if you are stubborn, you will inevitably become cannon fodder. It is better to eat and drink in the clan and live a peaceful life. Of course, for those with poor aptitude who insist on cultivating, the clan will not object, and sometimes even support such children, because they are generally very persistent. Their Shinshin has passed the test, and they have an obsession, and they wake up after being stimulated. The probability of writing round eyes is still very high. Fortunately, the Uchiha clan has a strong bloodline, and ordinary clansmen have the aptitude for cultivation. Even if they have at least Chunin potential, they account for 1/3. This is only one session. There are at least a dozen elite Chunin potentials. Even if there are a few losses in the future, there will generally be 4 or 5 Chunin, and the probability of one elite Chunin is not small. That is to say, every time, the family will have 4 or 5 new Chunin. The peak period of each ninja is counted as 20 years, which means that the Uchiha family has at least 80 Chunin just under normal conditions. This time it is not one of the accidental promotions. It is conceivable that the background of the Uchiha family has been revealed. The big things of the family are not yet in the hands of the little guy Uchiha Kiyoshi to think about, so just passing these things in his mind, Uchiha Kiyo no longer thinks about it. Listening carefully, Uchiha Takashi once again emphasized the precautions for refining chakra. Uchiha Takashi didn't delay for too long. After mentioning some precautions, he announced that they could start trying to refine chakra. Uchiha adjusted his state, sat cross-legged directly on the ground, ready to start refining chakra. Close your eyes and carefully feel the energy of your body and spirit according to the method taught by Takashi Uchiha. The previous week's training was too ruthless. After getting the method, Uchiha Kyo didn't try it either. This was also the first attempt, including everyone here. Perhaps it was the reason for the strength of the soul. Soon, Uchiha Kyo felt his spiritual energy. Uchiha Kyo didn't know how to describe it, he only knew that it was his own spiritual energy, and there was no concept of a mass, just a vague sense, that was his own spiritual energy. Moreover, thanks to his powerful soul, Uchiha Kyo can easily control his own mental energy, although he still can't feel it or see anything, it's just a vague concept. After trying for a while, Kyo Uchiha stopped paying attention to mental energy, and then began to sense physical energy. After half an hour, Uchiha Kyo felt the energy contained in his body. Unlike spiritual energy, physical energy can be clearly perceived. It is a white energy, no, it should be said to be a light green energy, but this, shallow, is a bit too much. After feeling the energy of the body, Uchiha Kyo was also relieved. There is no problem, the physical energy and the spiritual energy have been sensed. Sure enough, my guess was right, and I felt right during the previous week's workout. Regardless of perception and other issues, my body is naturally gifted. Two kinds of energy can be sensed in half an hour, even with the training of the previous week, it is not only good, but very good. Among them, many people feel that they are stuck on mental energy. It is too vague and difficult to understand, and even this energy itself is very vague. Uchiha Kyo directly sensed the spiritual energy through the powerful light of his soul. But that doesn't mean it's cheap. Isn't it the talent of Kyo Uchiha to have a strong soul? How to say crossing, there is also a benefit, right? Without golden fingers, the soul is a little stronger, right? What? Is the soul too strong? No, nothing. The reborn Uchiha Kyo was born with the soul of an adult in his 20s, and this soul was quite intelligent in his previous life. Even without the nourishment of spiritual energy, it would be 4 or 5 times stronger than a normal child. Besides, when the body grows, shouldn't it feed back the soul? In other words, Uchiha Kyoshi is an adult soul, and it is very reasonable to grow up with the body. Farther away, back to the topic. After Uchiha Chin sensed the two energies, he did not rush to start the fusion, but continued to sense the two energies, along with a wave of research. According to what Kyo Uchiha saw in the book, there is actually a gap in the quality of ninja chakras. The purer the chakra, the more powerful it is in the process of launching ninjutsu. Of course, with the practice of ninja, chakra will become more and more refined. Based on a lot of knowledge that he has seen and what he has sensed before, Uchiha Chin guessed that when chakra is integrated, the purer the body's energy, the purer the chakra. This is not unreasonable. Mental energy is more conceptual, it is illusory, and it is basically impossible to operate in detail, so Uchiha Chin focused his attention on physical energy. After all, it looks like light green energy, look carefully, it is light green body energy, there is a feeling that the darker the green, the purer the energy. Therefore, Uchiha Chin is not in a hurry to integrate, but to study, physical energy and spiritual energy, focus on physical energy. Not to mention that Uchiha himself has some plans, and the purer chakra alone is enough to make Uchiha wait for a while. To improve the purity of body energy, isn't it just exercise? If the physical quality goes up, can the energy still be advanced? So Uchiha Kyo decisively gave up the idea of merging chakra immediately. That being the case, what does Kyo Uchiha do when he practices chakra every morning? You can't just pretend, can you? What a waste of time. Of course, it is the study of body energy. This is also the only time Uchiha Kyoshi can use for research, and since the external performance is the same anyway, Uchiha Kyo is not afraid of being seen through by Uchiha Takashi. A week ago, Uchiha Takashi had already finished explaining the basic theory of throwing, and the only thing that was bad was training. Therefore, the training time for kunai throwing was also shortened. From then on, 5 hours in the morning, 3 hours were given to them to practice chakra, and the remaining 2 hours were for training kunai throwing. 3 hours later, Uchiha Takashi was disappointed to see that no one had successfully extracted chakra, but he quickly recovered. This is normal. According to the experience of previous years, many ninjas actually extract chakra in the last week of the month. That's a little over 2 months and a week. Uchiha Takashi woke everyone up and started the training of kunai throwing. After that is the training of Uchiha letter. In this way, Uchiha Kiyoshi delayed his fusion of chakra by 2 weeks. 2 weeks is enough for Uchiha Kiyo to study the energy of the body. Uchiha Kiyo not only studied the general nature of body energy, but also confirmed his previous speculation. With the improvement of physical fitness, the quality of body energy has indeed improved. At least now Uchiha Ching dares to say proudly that his body energy can be seen as light green at a glance. Anyway, the research has been studied, and the quality of chakra is not impossible to improve in the later stage. Uchiha Kiyo no longer delays, and directly starts to integrate chakra. The method of chakra extraction taught by the ninja tribe is similar, and the reason for its high efficiency is not only the guidance of a special person, but also that even if the proportions required by each person are different, reading www.uukangshu. The calm ninjas have still researched the approximate range of the fusion ratio of body energy and spiritual energy. Others don't know if it is accurate or not, anyway, at least their own people are like this. Originally, Kiyo Uchiha was praying for some advanced method, but this is the result. That's right, if there is any special method, the number of ninjas will not be so small, and the top of the village will not allow the ninja school to teach, otherwise the gap between civilian ninjas and family ninjas will be too big. The only difference is in these subtle differences. However, Uchiha Ching is not unprepared, otherwise it has been delayed for 2 weeks. If it takes another 2 weeks to integrate, wouldn't he really be a fool and waste? Uchiha Kiyoshi, who has received higher education, has mastered many advanced scientific methods. Control variable method, have you heard of it? According to his feeling, Uchiha Ching roughly controls the amount of mental energy he uses each time, and then increases his body energy from less to more, and increases the proportion of body energy. In just 2 hours, Uchiha Kiyo successfully merged his own chakra. Uchiha Ching felt that there was a blue-ray energy in his lower abdomen, and he knew that it was chakra. Uchiha Takashi also discovered Uchiha's situation, nodded, and continued to pay attention to others. 5 people have successfully extracted chakra before, and Uchiha Ching succeeded in a normal, average, time, which did not make Uchiha Takashi too excited. Feeling the chakra in the body, Uchiha Kiyo was also relieved. Is this chakra? Although the amount is still small, I believe that one day, I will have a strong strength with chakra. Ask for collection. The right way to rise. Uchiha Chapter 6, Physical Combat. After refining chakra, Uchiha Ching calmed down, and then began to refine chakra. For the first time refining chakra, Uchiha must know what his limit is, so that he can control it later. Chakra is formed by the fusion of physical energy and spiritual energy. It only strengthens the body, and does not have any feedback. In other words, the body cells have to work part-time, and no wages are paid. Terrible. Therefore, compared with other cultivation systems, the path of chakra does not increase the lifespan, on the contrary, it will also lose the lifespan. Don't look at those ninjas who didn't die in battle and the life expectancy of normal people is similar, there is actually a difference. Although the lifespan of ninjas has been depleted, they exercise all year round and will not be disturbed by diseases. But ordinary people are different. They are weak and sick, and they may not live the normal lifespan of their bodies and die early. In general, chakra can bring powerful strength, but it can also cause damage to the body, which is a double-edged sword. Although it is said that in such a world, the most important thing is the effect. However, when Uchiha Ching came to such a world where he could cultivate, he naturally also thought about longevity, so if he could refine chakra as little as possible, he should try to refine it as little as possible. Anyway, he couldn't refine it to the limit every time. In the past 4 years, it is not that he has not thought of a way, but now he has just refined the chakra, and Uchiha Ching has no time to implement his own ideas. Uchiha Kiyoshi refined chakra with all his strength, knowing that there was a warning message from his body. Uchiha Kiyo knew that he had reached his limit. The chakra in the lower abdomen, which is obviously thicker than the size of a hair, is twice as much as the average level of the clan that Uchiha Takashi said. It also made Uchiha Chin realize that his chakra talent is good. Feeling the emptiness of his body, Uchiha sighed quietly. Unfortunately, it cannot be refined to the limit state in the future. But it's okay, in the future, I will refine half of the amount each time, and I can also hide my talent by the way. Uchiha Chin could only comfort himself like this in his heart. Before Uchiha Chin could think any more, Uchiha Takashi woke everyone up. Okay, 5 more people successfully fused chakra today, which is not bad, but 3 hours have passed, and it's time to do the kunai throwing training. Those who haven't extracted chakra yet, they will work hard tomorrow. Hearing that Uchiha Takashi said that 5 people have successfully extracted chakra today, some people obviously showed envious eyes. Those are the few who have not yet successfully merged chakra, but it is almost too soon, and they are all stuck in the process of finding the ratio. However, if they were told that Uchiha Kyo had found the correct fusion ratio in just 2 hours, they would probably be off. The day's exercise was over soon, and Uchiha Chin returned home as usual, took a medicated bath, and thought about his future plans. Now Konoha can be said to be a very peaceful period. Although the 3 generations have been in power for a long time, they have only just grasped the power in their hands, and Danzo is also busy consolidating his power, and he has no intention to suppress Uchiha for the time being. And from various indications, although Danzo strictly inherited the ideas of the second generation Hokage Senju Tobarama itself did not have to suppress Uchiha, but just wanted to limit it. The reason why Danzo is so active is that, on the one hand, he covets the power of the first Hokage Chishoshima, and found that only the Uchiha family's writing wheel eyes can suppress the cells of the column, which is why they collected the writing wheels wildly. The second point is that Danzo didn't know where to know about Izanagi's ninjutsu. Under the greed, he intensified his efforts to suppress Uchiha, and secretly assassinated the elites of the Uchiha family who opened the 3 Goju. However, right now, Danzo probably hasn't started the research on the pillar cells, and he doesn't know about Izanagi's ninjutsu. Now, the situation between the village and Uchiha is not so confrontational, it is more like a different position. But even so, it makes sense that Mu Shio will be destroyed by Lin Feng. The talent is so good, the 3 generations and Danzo do not allow their status to be threatened, especially the Uchiha family. The roots of Danzo are lacking people. If they are targeted, and the other party spends a lot of money to get themselves in, wouldn't it be miserable? It is necessary to hide talents. Only in this way can we grow up smoothly. Uchiha Chin kept turning his thoughts, thinking about all kinds of possibilities, and finally decided to hide it. For his own talent, Uchiha can still appreciate it. The amount of chakra is only one aspect. The various books he read in the past may have received strict and formal higher scientific education in his previous life. Uchiha can quickly understand it. What does this mean? It shows that Uchiha Chin's ability to learn ninjutsu is definitely not bad, at least in medical ninjutsu and sealing. However, aren't these 2 systems already the 2 most difficult systems to cultivate? Therefore, Uchiha Chinkai has to hide his talent, at least to reduce the possibility of being noticed. Physical arts are not yet optimistic, so the talent of physical arts can be properly exposed. Although I don't have any outstanding talent in this regard. However, I am a mature person, I know what I want, and I will not be lazy in training. Compared with other children who love to play, there is a gap in the training time, and it is not difficult to pretend to be a genius of physique. And then, with medical ninjutsu. The ninjutsu revealed is also as defensive as possible. In this way, wouldn't you be more confident about your fear of death person? And if you think about it, it's pretty good. Cough. It's not that I'm afraid of death, people need it, yes, people need it. Uchiha Kyo firmly refused to admit that he was fear of death. After thinking about it, I also determined the direction of my own development. Medical ninjutsu, and defensive ninjutsu, let's not hurry, let's consider the issue of taijutsu now. It won't take long, you should practice your combat skills, since the direction is determined, let's focus on defense in all aspects. After figuring out his short-term goal, Uchiha Chin also fell into a deep sleep. In the next week, the remaining few successfully extracted chakra one after another. Uchiha Ching also camouflaged his chakra talent very well. After practicing for a month before and after, the training of kunai throwing will not cause sore hands every time. Uchiha Shin also seems to have calculated everything. The training in the morning did not delay the battle in the afternoon, and everyone successfully refined the chakra. At this time, the training for the battle began. Starting today, we will add some taiju battles every day. In the past month, I have also told you some techniques and precautions in taiju battles one after another. Let's see your results today. Uchiha said so with his mouth, but in fact he didn't have much expectations in his heart. After all, in the past month, he trained these little devils to the limit every day, and it is estimated that no one has the heart to listen to the skills he talks about. Sure enough, 3 battles were fought, and it was simply appalling. Although it wasn't a scuffle like chickens pecking at each other, it wasn't a battle either. Uchiha later continued to point to the next group. Uchiha Ching vs Uchiha. When Uchiha Ching heard his opponent's name, he didn't recover for a while. Uchiboto? Are you afraid that you and Uchiha Takashi are brothers? Uchiha Ching really guessed right. Uchiha is indeed Uchihataka's younger brother, but compared to Shangnin's brother, Uchiha seems much mediocre. Of course, none of this has anything to do with Uchiha. Uchiha later finished naming. Uchiha Kyo stepped forward with another thin child. Uchiboto is indeed similar to Uchiha Takashi. Even his height is very similar to his own brother. He is taller than his peers. At least among the children present, there is really no one taller than Uchiboto. Following Uchiha letter's order, Uchiha Kyo and Uchiha formed a seal of opposition. Then both sides jumped in opposite directions, opening the distance first. As Uchiha Takashi's younger brother, although he did not receive any preferential treatment during the special training period, he had a Shangnin elder brother after all, and he was instructed by Uchiha Takashi in many combat skills when he was a child. As soon as he got up and pulled away, Uchibuto took out a handful of kunai. The reason why it is said to be one is that the kunai taken out by Uchibuto is different from the standard kunai during training, but is tailored according to the user. Uchibuto holds the kunai and can be used as a short knife. Uchiha held kunai in hand and quickly approached Uchiha Kyo. Uchiha Ching was also a little surprised. He didn't expect to use weapons in a battle before, but seeing that Uchiha Xian did not stop it, it was estimated that he acquiesced. Dodging the opponent's blow, Uchiha Kyo hurriedly took out a standard kunai while the opponent hadn't recovered. Although it is said that the standard kuna is used for close combat, it is not as handy as the opponent's kuna, but Uchiha can't take over the kuna with his bare hands, right? It's not that Neza is 100% empty-handed. Uchiha calmed down and stabbed at Uchiha again. At this time, Uchiha Kiyoshi had already held the kunwu, turned sideways, held the kunwu in front of him, and blocked the opponent's horizontal split. Uchiha Ching retreated at the touch of a button. Seeing that he couldn't easily take down the opponent, Uchibuto kept shooting, hacking, slashing, and stabbing. Although he didn't have high skills, he was quite satisfactory. At least in Uchiha's view, it is much better than the performance in the previous games. It's just. Nobu Uchiha frowned, looking at Kyo Uchiha, who was constantly using hard to block, although he was very satisfied with his blocking skills. But, how about you fight back? It seems that you are not panicked and do not know how to fight back. Why are you forced to resist? Uchiha Ching didn't know the psychological activity of Uchiha Shin, who was on the side, and kept blocking Uchiha's attack. From the beginning, he struggled. Calm is slowly becoming more and more comfortable. Uchiha Shin, who was watching this progress, was surprised. I didn't expect that this kid Ching is quite talented in physical skills, and the progress is so obvious. It's just that you are attacking, what the is just blocking but not attacking. Uchiha later first praised Uchiha Kyo in his heart, but then he was also depressed about Uchiha Kyo's behavior of only blocking. Uchiha Xian couldn't help but think, I finally see a person who is talented in taijutsu, won't he only defend in the end? Shaking his head, Nobu Uchiha then looked at the two sides fighting in the field. At this time, Uchibuto and Uchiha Ching had been fighting for 10 minutes. I haven't been able to win Uchiha Ching, and Uchiboto is also anxious. Because he has been in an offensive state, Uchiboto's physical strength has gradually been unable to support it. On the contrary, Uchiha Kiyoshi, who only needs to defend, is still physically strong. Can he play for at least 5 or 6 minutes? Another minute later, Uchiha finally surrendered. Uchiha Kiyo won his first victory. Of course, if that counts as a win for yourself. After finishing the Seal of Reconciliation, Uchiha Kiyo returned to his original place under Uchiha Shin's strange eyes and watched the battle of the other groups. The first battle ended like this, and Uchiha Nobui commented on their respective situations. Maybe I think that the situation of Kiyo Uchiha today is just an accident, and there is no special correction. Then came the intense physical exercise. In this way, the special training has really entered the right track. With the guidance of Nobu Uchiha, Kiyo Uchiha's physical skills have also risen sharply, but the style may be a bit wrong. Ask for collection. The right way to rise. Uchiha Chapter 7, Preliminary Research Chakra. When a person is devoted to something, time always goes by a lot faster. Since the first physical battle, 2 months have passed before you know it. In 2 months, with a lot of battles, and with the guidance of Nobu Uchiha, Kiyo Uchiha's progress has been obvious. According to Uchiha letter, Uchiha Kiyoshi is almost the same as the newly graduated genin in physical skills. Genin is actually mainly relying on physical skills, so after rounding up, Uchiha letter means that Uchiha Ching has almost the strength of the newly graduated genin. In fact, before Uchiha Kiyoshi exhausted his physical strength, he was able to defend against an attack that had just graduated from Jin-nin. As for the attack hitting the opponent, Uchiha Kiyoshi doesn't seem to. However, if you get tired of your opponent and get down on the ground, does that count as defeating your opponent? After all, the other party also fell. Uchiha said that the result is the same, that is, I knocked him down. Unfortunately, after the 3-month special training, without the medicinal bath, Uchiha didn't dare to exercise too much. As a result, it is impossible for his physical fitness to improve rapidly in a short period of time. However, Uchiha Ching is also very satisfied. In the 3 months of this special training in the clan, Uchiha has been reborn directly, and he basically has the combat power of genin. Of course, this is not a point worth showing off, and even Uchiha Shin rarely mentions it to others, for fear that the topic will suddenly change to Uchiha's tactics. During the period, it was not that Uchiha Shin did not try to reverse the situation of Uchiha, but after many attempts to no avail, under investigation, to find out about Uchiha's previous situation, he also generally understood the reason, and no longer persuaded him. Alas! Only in the future he will slowly get out of his heart. When you wake up in the morning, you don't need to go to special training anymore, and Uchiha Ching is also a lot more relaxed. The intensity of the special training was too great, even Uchiha Kiyo could not stand it. If it weren't for the medicinal bath, he even thought that he would be disabled from training. However, this also shows that the medicated bath formula of the Uchiha family is powerful and can treat such severe sports injuries, and it is still used for children, and it will not affect development after treatment. It can only be said that it is worthy of being a noble family that has continued from the Warring States period, and its heritage is profound. Although he didn't need special training, Uchiha Ching still didn't slack off. After breakfast, he started warm-up exercise. Uchiha Kiyoshi, who is familiar with medical scrolls, can naturally formulate a most suitable exercise method for himself without damaging his body and affecting his development. After completing the basic training, Uchiha Ching started his own business. Although it has been said that the energy of chakra has been successfully extracted for more than 2 months, but there was no time to study before training, and now I finally have time, Uchiha Ching naturally has to study it carefully. Uchiha has been interested in chakra energy for a long time. Now that he is free, Uchiha Kiyo began to study with great interest. First of all, Uchiha Kiyo controlled the chakra, running it on his hands and throwing a fist. With the sound of ha, Uchiha Kiyo was very satisfied with this. In the past 2 months, Uchiha Kiyo had already known from Uchiha Shin that chakra can strengthen the body, whether it is attack or defense, it will be greatly improved. In the 2-month battle, Uchiha Kiyo has already mastered some of the most basic, chakra strengthening of the body. For example, when defending, turn chakra to the arm, and when dodging, it turns to the leg. Uchiha Kiyoshi has also tried to move chakra to various parts of the body, trying to see if chakra can nourish the body, but unfortunately all ended in failure. It is also true, if it is possible, the entire ninja world will not be discovered for such a long time. According to Uchiha's research, the final conclusion is that chakra can greatly enhance the body's attack and defense capabilities, but only for a short time, and it cannot nourish the body and achieve a permanent enhancement effect. However, this was originally a ninja attempt. What is the difference between research and no research? Is there really no way to feed back the body while cultivating chakra? No, I must find this method, otherwise even if I reach the 6th level, I will inevitably die. Even if I can be like a six-path immortal, the soul is immortal, but it is inevitable to lose the body. According to Uchiha Kiyoshi, who has read many novels in his previous life, losing the physical body is not perfect, and may even lose the space to continue to rise. When it comes to chakra, there are still some magical places. Since the first practice of chakra, Uchiha Kiyoshi has been running chakra every time he practiced since then. The body seems to have memorized the corresponding ratio, and it will automatically fuse physical energy and spiritual energy. According to the explanation Uchiha found in the data room of the clan, after the successful fusion of chakra, no matter how you squeeze it, there will always be a trace of chakra left in the body, which is equivalent to leaving a chakra seed. As long as the body energy and spiritual energy are input, the seeds can grow on their own. Uchiha Chin can only choose to accept this setting. Seemingly remembering something, Uchiha patted his head, got up and ran into the warehouse upstairs. There is a place to store the relics of my parents, most of which are ninja tools and notes left by my father. Before, Uchiha Chin rarely flipped these things. In his opinion, these things are not something he can see now. What can an ordinary person who has not refined chakra use? Not as good as the database incense in the clan. Now, Uchiha Chin has practiced chakra, and these things have gradually come into use, and sooner or later become the nourishment of Uchiha Chin. Uchiha Chin searched for a long time, and finally found a few pieces of paper that were obviously worn. Chakra test strips, this is what Kyo Uchiha found. Chakra test strips are used to measure the chakra properties of ninjas. Generally speaking, ninjas will have one chakra attribute, and some geniuses have 2 or more chakra attributes. The chakra attribute is innate in the body, which attribute means that it can be easier and more convenient to practice this attribute escape technique. The more attributes, the stronger the ninja's talent in ninjutsu. Chakra test strips are tools that can test a ninja's chakra attributes. Uchiha Kyo also found these test papers when he was packing his parents' belongings a long time ago. If I hadn't just suddenly remembered it, and I didn't know my chakra attributes, I probably wouldn't have remembered it. Regarding his chakra attributes, reading www.yuyukeangshu.com. Uchiha naturally hopes that the more the better, this will save a lot of trouble. Staring at the chakra test strip in his hand, Uchiha took a deep breath and slowly poured his chakra into the chakra test strip. Injecting different properties of chakra, the chakra test paper will have different reactions. The wind attribute is cut in half, the thunder attribute is folded, the soil attribute is broken, the water attribute will become wet, and the fire attribute will also burn. If you have a variety of chakras at the same time, the test strip will also be divided into different areas, showing different phenomena. I saw half of the chakra test strips in Uchiha's hand started to burn, and the other half was half shattered and half wet. This also means that Uchiha Chin has 3 attributes of fire, earth and water, of which the fire attribute accounts for the largest proportion. Looking at the reaction of the chakra test strip in his hand, Uchiha Kiyoshi was very excited. 3 attributes, this talent is not low, right? The whole Konoha knows more than himself, only the 3 generations of Hokage and Orochimaru, right? Jiraiya is also possible, but not sure. With the 3 attributes, at least it will be much more convenient when practicing in the future. Uchiha Kyo looked at the test strip divided into 3 parts, and this thought flashed through his mind. However, he seemed to have thought of something. Uchiha Chin looked around, and after confirming that no one was there, he destroyed the test strip and went back downstairs. In the future, I will say that I am a fire attribute chakra, and at most add an earth attribute. Now that he has decided to hide, Uchiha Chin naturally has to hide his attributes, and there cannot be a single mistake. Otherwise, it would be self-defeating, and it would simply make the higher-ups doubt their motives. Ask for collection. Try it out and see if you can keep it updated every day. The Right Way to Rise Uchiha Chapter 8, Printing Practice. After studying chakra, Uchiha Kyo, who had nothing to gain, was also depressed. It seems that not everything is as simple as he thinks. Indeed, since everyone has crossed over, this is really a real world. You can't treat everyone like a fool. There must be countless ninjas who have tried such a simple question. How could I wait for me to find out? Woolen cloth. Uchiha Chin adjusted his mentality and thought about his own way out. I always thought that many things were just like that. When I got it right, I found out that it was really difficult, or even impossible to succeed. Uchiha Chin reflected on his previous mistakes. I still take it for granted, this is a real world, not everything revolves around me, many things have to be done step by step to succeed, and some are unrealistic. It is better to think less about it. The plan also needs to be changed. In the real world, there are accidents at any time. You can't expect everything. You can only try to keep the general direction unchanged, and you can only adapt to small things. Uchiha Kyo continued to reflect, and he formulated a new plan, which is to move closer to the general direction of becoming stronger as a whole. As for the short-term goal, it is to strive for the strength to reach the Chunin in the next few years in the ninja school level, so that safety can be guaranteed. Kakashi can endure Chunin at the age of 6, but I can't bear it too much at the age of 10. Uchiha Chin has set goals for himself, and naturally he will not waste any more time. In the ninja world, ninjutsu is the guarantee of the strength of ninjas. Only by mastering powerful ninjutsu can one truly exert a powerful strength. Otherwise, just like Naruto in the early stage, if there is chakra, the ninjutsu will not be able to go up, and it will not be able to exert its due strength at all. And the release of ninjutsu, there are two most critical places, that is, sufficient chakra, and the correct seal. Of course, some special ninjutsu can do without the seal. In Uchiha's understanding, there is no need to seal, not really need to do anything, but rely on proficiency or superb chakra control ability to omit the process of seal. Yuin, to put it bluntly, is the process of cooperating with ninjas to mobilize chakra. Well, these are what Uchiha Kiyoshi saw from the data room. In terms of chakra, Uchiha has no choice but to accumulate step by step. What he can do is to understand the process of the not seal. Perhaps it was the most scientific education received in the previous life. From basic to advanced, with a little improvement, many things, once you have the basics, it is very easy to learn. So when it comes to the ninja world, Uchiha Chin will always want to explore many essential things involuntarily. In other words, you don't have to explore it, as long as you can come up with a relatively basic theory, and then learn based on this, the efficiency will be much higher. Take ninjutsu as an example, the principle of ninjutsu release, this will not be mentioned for the time being. What Kyo Uchiha needs now is to learn ninjutsu quickly, and to release ninjutsu, he only needs the ninja to seal properly and have enough chakra. But what is the correct seal? Therefore, in the past 4 years, Uchiha has cleared the information on medical ninjutsu and sealing, and the rest is looking at the knowledge about ninjutsu theory, such as the role of the seal, the skills of the seal, etc. From this, he learned that different ninjas release different ninjutsu, and the required seals are actually different. As long as you are skilled enough and your chakra control level is up to standard, some knots can be omitted. This is also what Uchiha Chin needs to explore, how to omit the seal, and why. Anyway, I'm only 6 years old now, and I haven't had time to learn ninjutsu yet, so I still have time to study. Uchiha Kyo is not afraid of failure. Even if he fails, perhaps part of this research process will be useful for his future research. Right now, I know very little, so I can only build up the theoretical system I want with continuous accumulation. Yes, build the system. Uchiha Kiyoshi wants to establish his own theoretical system to explain his understanding of many things, and it is more convenient for him to create his own ninjutsu in the future. Of course, the things that are being studied now are put aside for a while, and now there are more important things to do. First, practice the knot seal. Uchiha Kyo himself doesn't know how to seal the seal yet, how can he study it, right? There are 12 ninja seals in total, namely Zi Cho E Mao Chin Si Wu Wei Shin Yu Su Hai, and Uchiha Chin practiced one by one in order. From the jerky at the beginning, he slowly began to become proficient. In one afternoon, Uchiha Kiyoshi's printing speed has reached 1 seal for 2 seconds. Uchiha Kiyoshi was also very distressed. He had no choice but to practice more. After making his fingers proficient in various Indian movements, he could make rapid progress. As a novice who has just started to practice knots, he should pay attention to his proficiency. The fingers adapt to each movement. Blindly pursuing speed, but falling behind. Therefore, in the next few days, Uchiha Chin did not pay too much attention to the speed of the seal, but kept randomly forming 12 seals, so that his fingers could be proficient in various seal styles, and he could follow his own will, quickly react to complete the corresponding Indian style. Among them, although Uchiha Chin did not pursue speed, he still controlled the time of each seal to 2 seconds. For the increasingly skilled Uchiha Chin, the pressure was not too great. In this way, there is another advantage, that is, the damage to the fingers is small, and the practice time is long. However, even so, the daily practice still made Uchiha's fingers sore and swollen. Fortunately, as a big family, many things in the Uchiha family are perfect, and there are special medicines to treat and relieve finger fatigue. This is specially prepared for those ninjas who practice the seal. After a long period of improvement, the effect has been improved. Excellent. And if the clansmen come to buy it, they can also enjoy a 20% discount. Compared with medicated baths, this type of medicine is much cheaper, and the monthly amount is only 10,000, so Uchiha can barely afford it. With the medicine, the fingers can be treated in time, and Uchiha's progress is not slow. In just 5 days, Uchiha Kyo had gotten out of the novice stage and was able to do it. He could quickly react to whatever seal he wanted to make. Uchiha Chin also tried it in private. With all his strength, Uchiha Chin's seal has reached 1 seal per second. In 5 days, the progress of doubling the speed is not slow, and Uchiha Chin can feel that with his daily practice, he can still improve after being proficient. The practice of Yuin has been initially completed. After that, you can practice every day. Next, it is time to explore the principle of Yuin. Uchiha Kiyoshi has seen it in the reference room, which says about Yuin. Chakra is a fusion of physical energy and mental energy, so in addition to using one's own control ability to directly control the operation of chakra, the movement of the body will also cause the operation of chakra in the body. Among them, the most delicate parts of the human body, the hands, naturally become the focus. Different handprints will cause different chakra reactions in the body. Previously, Uchiha Kyo only knew such a statement, but he always knew it, I didn't know why, and didn't understand what the so-called different reactions meant. Let me experience it today. What are the different reactions? Uchiha Kyo concentrated his mind, paid attention to the chakra in his body, and began to form seals on his hands. With the seal, Uchiha Chin can feel that the chakra in the body has a tendency to run, but because Chiba Chin pays attention here, the chakra is still under the control of Uchiha Chin and does not operate. As long as you don't stop it, chakra should run on its own with the seal. After that, Uchiha released the control, and even said that he took the initiative to push chakra to complete the corresponding operation, and Uchiha continued to study. It turned out to be the case. Different Indian styles correspond to different changes in chakra, and a combination of Indian styles also means a connection in the operation of chakra, just like the subprint can make chakra run to the position of the right arm, and not the seal can also make the chakra running here continue to run to the hand. So after the sub-in, there is an imprint, and the chakra will run directly from the lower abdomen to the right arm, and then continue to run to the right hand. Among them, the connection between different seals should be paid attention to. Only by controlling the time can the process be successfully completed. Otherwise, the chakra has not been transferred to the arm, and there will be an unprinted, then the process cannot be completed. Also, there is more than one connection like this, the subprint plus the unprinted, in addition to this process, it can also complete the chakra running to the left leg, and then continue to run to the left foot, and there are other processes, some of which even require the connection time is the same. In this case, the release of ninjutsu should be some specific chakra operation process, and what the ninja needs to do is to complete the correct operation. Kyo Uchiha felt that he had found the right way to learn ninjutsu. Under the ecstasy, Uchiha Kiyoshi continued his research, wanting to see what kind of combinations there are between different Indian styles. Isn't this the permutation and combination of high school mathematics? I understand this. Full of confidence, Uchiha Kyo began to keep trying to find all the chakra responses corresponding to each seal, and then combine them with each other. However, just as Uchiha Kiyoshi was full of energy and wanted to continue his research, the soreness in his fingers woke him up. Hey! I just paid attention to the research, and didn't take into account the bearing capacity of the fingers. It was a miscalculation, and I had to wait until the fingers were healed before continuing. Uchiha Chin gave a wry smile, but reluctantly stopped his research. Thinking back carefully now, the various chakra changes that different Indian styles can correspond to, Uchiha Chin also took a breath. There are as many as 20 kinds of chakra movements corresponding to one subprint. Thinking of this, Uchiha Chin also sighed that he was really impulsive before, and started to try one by one. Knowing that this is a question of permutation and combination, I am still reckless, and it seems that I am still not calm enough. Now that he can't move his hands, Uchiha can only rely on his imagination, recall his previous feelings, try various combinations, and summarize the experience just now. With the classification of Uchiha Chin, it was found that the influence of Indian style on chakra is too much, and it is likely that he cannot study it by himself. Why do you say that? Under the classification of Uchiha, it was found that the reaction caused by the chakra caused by the seal is not directly connected with a seal, and it can be fully perceived according to the flow of chakra. Some of these reactions only give a trend to chakra, and cannot be fully mobilized. The flow of chakra needs to be controlled by the ninja subjectively. When the seal is formed, push it. With that said, there are likely to be many trends that have not been perceived by oneself. And what's even more frightening is that under normal circumstances, ninja's chakra is stored in the lower abdomen, not scattered throughout the body. That is to say, the change caused by the direct knot is only the influence of this Indian style on the chakra in the lower abdomen. In addition to what the direct seal can feel, if there is chakra in the place without chakra, what kind of changes will it cause? Is this project too big? No wonder the creation of ninjutsu is so difficult, is that so? Is this method unique to me, or is it known to many? Uchiha Kyo continued to analyze and was surprised, but calmed down. It shouldn't be, otherwise there won't be any records on the surface. Many ninjas should only rely on the guidance of others, remember the required operation route, and keep accumulating. It's only me who would go to such a boring summary of feelings one by one, right? In fact, Uchiha Kyo guessed wrong. In the entire ninja world for thousands of years, how could no one think of doing this? It's just that there are very few people like this, and generally this kind of thinking is only tried when they are just beginning to practice. At this time, their chakra control ability is not as good as Uchiha Kiyoshi, and it is difficult to study anything. More ninjas should also have summaries in this regard. Yu reading www.yuyukeungshu.com has at least a summary of chakra's reaction, but they are mainly based on the routes in the ninjutsu they have learned, plus exploring it bit by bit and sorting it out. On the contrary, I haven't practiced ninjutsu yet. When I'm bored, I try to summarize. Uchiha Chin shook his head and stopped thinking about these things. It seems that he thought of the different reactions of the huge number of chakras, and Uchiha Chin was a big head again. After thinking about it, he still made a choice. Let's first record the most superficial chakra response of the lower abdomen position that can be mobilized directly by the Indian style, and then study other parts step by step. Finally, collect the hidden, only trend responses one by one, and finally this step can only be accumulated gradually. As for the question of combination, perhaps it should be independently studied. After sorting out the ideas, Uchiha Chin also has a direction. In the following time, he will slowly organize and summarize according to this idea. Now, though, there are other things. Uchiha Kyo smeared ointment on his hands, bandaged them, and went out. After Uchiha cleared out the door, he went straight to the reference room. In the past few days, in addition to practicing the seal, Uchiha Kiyoshi has also been insisting on going to the reference room to find various materials, hoping to find a solution to the problem that chakra cannot nourish the body. Uchiha Ching is also really unwilling, a good cultivation system, why can't you live forever? Even the various martial arts novels in the previous life did not have the effect of prolonging life, and if there was no secret injury, at least it would be 100 years old, right? In the world of ninja, it's okay to practice chakra if you can't increase your lifespan, and it will reduce your lifespan. It's a hell. Ask for collection.